Many people's spiritual journey starts with the nebulous feeling that something is wrong with this world. It might be that they are looking around them, discovering all the injustices, insanities, and destructive behavior in society in general. It's the first wake-up call. On the flip side of this, there are others who notice the same thing, but they just accept it as human behavior and leave it with that. Those who continue pondering this and want to educate themselves might go on the internet and try to research it. Often they will stumble upon secret societies, the Illuminati, the elite bloodlines, and learn who seem to be running this world behind the scenes on a human level, i.e. the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, etc. They also learn about the occult, satanic rituals, and mind control. Before they go further and begin to associate this with an overshadowing extraterrestrial force, they learn about symbols, sigils, and insignia, and how they are used for evil by the same occult groups they've just learned about. In this video, we'd like to start with discussing symbols and sigils. In books and all over the internet, we learn that the Illuminati symbols are evil, and we should stay away from them as much as we can, or something bad might happen to us. On one level, this is true, because most of them are used by people with dark intentions to invoke demons, demigods, or other type of entities with the purpose of bringing power to the practitioner. Others, who might not have bad intentions, use them as well, and for a similar purpose, in an attempt to do good deeds with the potential power they hope to possess. Still, if the person is not a true shaman, or has full knowledge of the symbols and sigils, they might still experience the adverse effect of them because of the energies that are associated with them in this matrix. Symbols and sigils in themselves are not basically good or evil. It depends on the meaning and the energies we associate with them. Energy flows where attention goes. It's not only a matter of what occult practitioners are doing behind closed doors when they're using symbols. Symbols are all around us, in plain sight. Even these words you see on the screen are symbols, and there is a meaning put behind each of these letters and numbers. Spelling equals spells. Letters create words that have certain meaning to them. We put certain vibrations, frequency into words, which means we put energy into them. When we write or say them out loud, we're emitting certain frequencies that then hit the receiver, who, in order to understand the word, tune into the same frequency. Thus, symbols have everything to do with communication. In fact, if we go into town to do some shopping, we will see so-called occult symbolism everywhere. It's in the company's logos, on the dollar bill, on the food packages, and on most products we buy in general. We are so used to them that we don't even notice them. But once we start paying attention, occult symbols are literally everywhere. We can't browse the internet without seeing them all the time either. What does this mean? In short, it means that all these symbols are representing something. Occult symbolism has energy and vibrations connected to them, and in this matrix, these energies are rarely positive because they are used for dark purposes. Perhaps some of the most common symbols are connected to Saturn in one way or another. And Saturn is generally connected with Satan and the dark forces of reality. Therefore, the elite can place these symbols in plain sight to enhance their own agenda, spreading these lower vibrations into society and to every man. It works almost like a frequency fence, and most people are unaware of this, being surrounded with these symbols every day, even in their own home, unbeknownst to themselves. Thus, Then we're back to the question: aren't symbols an invocation to evil then? At least the way they are presented in our reality. If the question is put in this manner, the answer would be yes, at least at the most part. However, there is a twist to this. Where did all these symbols and sigils come from in the first place? Were they created by Enki and the AIF? Or did they exist before they took over and had us build this matrix based on manipulation from which we built our common and individual beliefs? The answer is that many of the symbols used are universal. They are geometric shapes that are building blocks of the universe. There is nothing evil with them. Then we can use these shapes and put significance to them, having them symbolizing something through agreement. Thus, certain energies are put into specific symbols, sigils and insignia. Those who have read the Westpenner Papers, WPP, know that when the AIF took over, they distorted everything that was created in the original experiment, instigated by the Queen. Symbols are no exception. In other words, they took symbols and sigils that had certain meanings and energies attached to them. They were often communication channels with the divine, used by the original shamans and others, and perverted them. They originally had a practical positive use. However, when the AIF took over, they changed the energies to match the limited frequency band we are trapped in, and instead of communicating with the divine, we now began to communicate with the AIF. This was often done by inversion. The AIF taught humanity to invert the symbols. Thus, we have the inverted pentagram and swastika, for example. Both these symbols were originally used to benefit the human soul group before the invasion, but by inverting them, they flipped it all around to invoke communication with the lower dimensions rather than the higher. The swastika in its original form is a symbol for the divine feminine. However, even symbols that are not inverted are, in this matrix, being used to communicate with the overlords rather than the real divine, our so-called higher self, and the different dimensions. Another example of a very common symbol that has been distorted is the all-seeing eye, which in occult circles is associated with the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, and in some branches of the Christian religion and in Catholicism, it is commonly referred to as the eye of God. Same thing, i.e. God/Lucifer equals Enki. However, the original meaning of this symbol is the female genital and the womb of the Divine Mother, from which, symbolically, all life springs. We can see this more clearly if we tilt the all-seeing eye 45 degrees. The triangle, pointing downwards, is also a symbol for the female genital, and is a symbol for the divine feminine. In the background to this video, you can also see the Superman logo, which symbolizes both Saturn and the snake inside the female genitals, the upside-down triangle. In the spiritual field, we still have a tendency to think in black and white. If we see an Illuminati symbol, we associate the entire symbol with something evil, and anyone who presents a symbol or sigil is therefore presenting something evil, even if it is for educational purposes. We need to diffuse the fear around symbols and sigils and look at the whole pictures instead. The purpose of those who put the symbols out there is to either keep us ignorant and subconsciously affected by their energies, or, in the cases of those who are more educated, instigate fear in the person. Both benefit the elite and the AIF. Again, education is the key. But symbolism is not all that is inverted in this matrix. When the overlords took over, they had to change things around in order to manipulate us into seeing things from their perspective and to put them in charge over us. Therefore, in order to understand the nature of things, the way it was originally supposed to be, it's a good rule of thumb to turn everything we've learned upside down and inside out. In other words, we need to reverse what the AIF inverted, to put it simply. This is easier said than done, because we have been so indoctrinated by our own beliefs that we are often not even aware of our own beliefs. Therefore, we must question everything we see and hear. Where does that come from? How do I know it's true? Who said that? Why? And for what purpose? Yes, it also goes for what Ariel and I present. Is it useful? How does it benefit me? Can I apply it? And so on. If something you see or hear does not fall into the category of getting a deeper understanding, it's a good idea to try to reverse the idea to see what happens then. In this matrix, very little is true. We are bombarded with inversions, half-truths, lies, and other types of manipulation on a daily basis. And unfortunately, we humans take most of this and create beliefs and belief systems around them, and we become more and more stuck here. As James Mahu of the Wingmakers once said, and I paraphrase, this human mind system, HMS, is built on layer upon layer of deception. When we think we figured it out, there's another wall to break through. However, this becomes easier and easier to do the more we grasp the foundation of this reality. From generations of manipulation and beliefs, most people, when they hear that the reverse side of what they have learned might be true, it seems so ridiculous that they laugh it off as fantasies from a deranged mind, when in fact the beliefs we hold as a human soul group, for the most part, are that what's ridiculous. We could probably ask any star being outside this matrix system, and they would agree. Thus, in order to understand this matrix, we must, just like the WPP postulates, examine our beliefs, question them all and everything else in this matrix, disagree to partake further in this manipulation, and by doing so we will set ourselves free from attachments and distractions. This will help us being in the present, reinforce our basic love and compassion that is the essence of every soul, and make us ready to graduate from the experiment.